All rise. We will obey. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte. Please be seated.
Thank you very much. Court officer, the case, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Situation in the Republic of Kenya in the case of the prosecutor versus William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang, ICC 01090111. And we're in open session, Your Honours.
Thank you. Appearances?
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honours. The prosecution remains the same, except we are joined this morning by Lucio Garcia.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honours. The same as before. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Your Honours, Mr. President. The Mr. Ruto team is represented by the same team as yesterday, save that we are joined this morning by Ms. Leilori.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President. We've just been joined by lead counsel Kikin Kata, and we're also here with Honor Lenham, Rong Sin Choi, and the client, Mr. Sang himself, and myself, Caroline Basson.
Thank you very much. And we note, Mr. Mutai, your presence on location in Nairobi. Witness, welcome back. Ms. Zago will continue examination in chief. Ms. Zago?
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, Your Honours. Good morning, Mr. Witness.
Sijambo.
I'd like to... The witness, good morning. I'd like to continue your examination today. I apologize for the interruption. I'd like to continue, as I said, your examination today, and I'd like you to please refer to the PIS form, the protection sheet form that we used yesterday, so that we continue your examination to the extent possible in open session. Do you understand?
Ndiyo nakuelewa.
Witness, yes, I do understand you. Yesterday, before we adjourned, you were telling the court about an ODM rally that you attended in December 2007 at location number 17. And for the record, I refer to T146, page 56, line 14 to 16. You said that many ODM representatives were in attendance, and you mentioned also a few. Now, I'd like to ask you whether among the ODM representatives that attended that rally, that was person number 13 from the list of people in the protected form. And it is at page 3. If the court officer could please make the form available to the witness. Thank you.
Witness, you now understand that the lawyer's question to you requires that you do not mention the actual name that appears she has referred you to the number because we're in open session. She is asking the question because she wants to protect your identity. That's why she's referring you to the PIS. So try your best to not mention the actual name, but you can say a person number 13. You see that name and you recognize that name, do you?
Ndiyo, nimeona hizo majina.
The witness, yes, I can see the name.
All right, Ms. Zago, can you ask the question, please?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Was person number 13 present at the rally that you attended in December 2007 at location number 17?
Ndiyo, nambari 17.
The witness, yes. Number 17, says the witness, was at the rally.
And did he speak at this rally?
Wait. I heard interpretations say number 17 was at the rally. I thought the question witness was whether person number 13 was at the rally that took place at location number 17.
Ndiyo, nambari 13 alikuwa katika mkutano na...
The witness, yes, number 13 was at the rally that took place at location number 17.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, did person number 13 speak at this rally?
Siku hiyo, nambari 13.
The witness, on that day, number 13 took part in the rally, but I left the location before he took the floor.
Did you learn subsequently what Mr. person number 13 say at the rally?
Sikuambiliwa na mtu yoyote kuhusu nambari 13.
Answer, no. Nobody reported back to me as to what number 13 said at the rally held at location number 17.
You also mentioned yesterday that Mr. Ruto was present at this rally. Are you aware if Mr. Ruto spoke at this rally?
Katika mkutano wa nambari 17.
Answer. At the rally held at location number 17, Ruto was present and he did take the floor.
Were you present when Mr. Ruto took the floor at this rally?
Ndiyo, nilikuweko.
Answer, yes, I was present.
And what did he say?
Bwana Ruto alisema kwamba
Answer. Mr. Ruto asked the population to vote, and the population did not want to be, and that they should not be distracted by the Christmas festivities in their bid to go and vote. The Swahili interpreter did not hear the last part of the witness's answer. Could he be requested to repeat?
Mr. Witness, the interpreter couldn't understand your answer in full, so I'd like you to repeat your last answer, please.
aliwasihi wafuasi wa pale wapige kura hakikisha.
Answer. He asked the population to go and vote as one, and he said that the Christmas festivities should not distract them, and that there should not be any madoa-doa or makweke, that they should vote as one, as a mass, in the province of the Rift Valley.
Witness, I believe that I heard part of your answer using words that are not English, and I suppose they are Swahili, but I'd like you to repeat and explain to us what you meant when Mr. Ruto said that there should not be any madoa-doa, that they should vote, and then another word which is not spelled in my transcript, and that they should vote as one, as a mass in the province.
So kuchagua wengi wachague in three pieces.
If I may, there is a some correction has to be made to line 18 of page 5. He did not say vote as one, as a mass, but in three pieces. Maybe you can clarify that with him.
I believe the translation is still pending, so witness, we're trying to understand your previous answer.
All right, witness, one second, sorry. You used two words. One was madoa-doa, and that's a word we've had in this case, so we all know how to spell it. But there was another word you used, witness. Was that makwekwe or makwete?
Makwekwe.
Makwekwe. That would be M-A-K-W-E. Is that the spelling?
Ndio ni hivyo.
Answer, that is correct. Message from the English booth. Could the parties and participants please observe a pause, because as we're working in relay, we need extra time to be able to free up the channel between the Swahili and the French booth for the English booth to be able to catch it. So could there please be more pause observed so that we do not miss any of the testimony? Thank you very much.
So, Ms. Sago, can you now ask about the meaning of that?
Thank you, and I apologize to the interpreters. Witness, please observe a pause between my questions and your answers, and I'll do the same so that we have an accurate record of what your testimony is today. Is that understood?
Ndio nakusikia.
Yes, I do understand you.
And also from the defense side as well. So let's all try and observe the polls from all sides. Please proceed.
Witness, you were telling us about Mr. Ruto's speech, at the rally, and you used two words, one being madoa doa, and the second word being mwakwekwe. My question to you is, what does madoa doa mean?
Katika uchaguzi uliokuwa ukifanyika.
Answer. During the elections of the month of December in Kenya, there were three levels within the election. We were to vote for the President of the Republic, we were to vote for the MPs, and we were also to vote for the councillors. Now, for me, this meant that when they said that they did not want any madoa doa or makweke, they wanted three pieces. That meant that they wanted us to vote for the President, the MPs and the councillors. That meant that they all should be ODM. That's what they meant by three-piece.
Thank you, witness. My question was, what does it mean in English? Please explain to us what the word madoa doa mean exactly.
Neno madoa doa.
Mr. President.
Answer. The term madoa doa.
Can we wait for the answer from
Mr.
the
President,
witness?
Okay,
I want to
Mr. Staba, don't do that. Don't do that. It's okay also. Let's not do that. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
My objection was the witness heard something, and what he had a particular meaning within the context in which it was used at the time. And he explained exactly what that meant. I think that is enough for an answer to the question asked. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. The objection is overruled.
Thank you, Mr. President. Witness, could you please answer my question? What does it mean in English, the word madoa doa?
Ninaweza nikaeleza ya kwamba maana ya madoa doa ilikuwa.
Answer. I shall explain what it means to you. Madoa doa means that they should vote the President, the MPs and the councillors as ODM. So that should not mean that should be any MPs that were PNU, because then there would be a mixture and there would not be the three pieces as such.
The other word that you use, makwekwe, what does it mean in English, please?
Makwekwe na madoadoa haiwachani mbali.
Answer. Makwekwe and madoadoa mean one and the same thing. So, were you to mix people, the elected representatives, there would be a mixture. So it means one and the same thing.
Witness, I only want to know about the word. What does the word makwekwe mean?
Answer. To my knowledge, the word makwekwe is out in the field. So if you are out standing in a field, if you have some plant or grass growing amongst others, that's what we refer to as a makwekwe.
And the word madoa doa, only the word, what does it mean?
Maana ya madoadoa ni kwamba ikiwa.
Answer. Madoa-doa means as follows. If we choose somebody from the PNU as an MP, and if there is a president and a councillor who are ODM, there would be a mixture. They did not want there to be any madoa-doa. They wanted people to vote in 3 sections or pieces for all those elected representatives to be from the ODM party.
Witness, the lawyer, what she is trying to understand from you is whether we understand that you've given the meaning of that word as you understood it in the context in which it was used, according to you, at the time, during that speech, during that particular speech. So we understand that you've given us the meaning as you understood it in the context of that particular speech. Are you with me?
Ndiyo nakuelewa.
So yes, I do understand you.
The question now is whether you also understand that word to have another meaning apart from that particular context that you explained it. In other words, the word madoa-doa taken on its own the word standing alone, does it have a meaning that you know?
Madoadoa inamaanisha kama ni nguo iko na kala tofauti tofauti. Hiyo ni madoadoa.
Answer. Madoa-doa means an item of clothing of different colors. So, it's like you were to mix clothing of different colors together.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sago.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, allow me. I think the translation was cut short. The witness said more than that. He said more than clothing. He also said if there's paint on a wall and it's different colors. And I see it's cut off after he mentioned clothes.
Nikisema kwa upande wa ukuta, unaweza paka rangi tofauti tofauti katika ukuta.
The witness. When talking about the wall, you can paint a wall in different colors, and then in that context you will also have a madoa-doa situation.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to my learned friend on the other side for this correction. Witness, did you hear Mr. Ruto saying anything else at this rally?
Kitu ambacho alikuwa kiongea pale ni mambo ya amani, watu wakule Krismasi mzuri.
He talked about peace. He asked the people to spend their Christmas under good conditions. He did not say anything else apart from what I have just told you.
And yesterday you told us that there were many people who attended this meeting. What was the reaction of the...
Do you have a pen and paper with you? Can court officer give the witness pen and paper?
Yes, Mr. President, I can provide the witness with a pen and paper.
Thank you. Witness, when the court officer gives you the pen and paper, hang on to it, please, because from time to time you may use it to spell out names, so you can write them down if it's easier for you to do that before spelling out. Now, can you spell the name Otieno Ajuang, did you say?
Otieno inaanza na 0T-I-E.
Otieno is spelled O-T-I-E-N-O. Ajuang, K-A-J-W-A.
Stenography working. All right. Did you say Kajwan is K-A-J-W-A? Is that all, or is it something else?
Nimesema K-A-N.
I said K-A-N-J-W-A-G at the end.
All right, we'll leave it at that. And the other names? Okay, we already heard the name Cones. You don't need to spell that again. Now, can you move on to the other one? Did you mention Orengo as well?
Ndio nimetaja Orengo.
Yes.
Name before, so we can move on. Thank you, witness, for helping us with the spellings.
We are in public session, Your Honors.
Witness, you told the court yesterday at page 43, line 15 to 16, that most people, and I'm quoting you, most people were supporters of the ODM, which meant that the ODM were stronger than the PNU, end of quote. In the period leading up to the 2007 election, how was the relationship between those supporting the ODM and those supporting the PNU in your area?
katika eneo ambao nilikuwa nikipatikana.
In the region where I lived, ODM supporters believed that their party was going to win the elections.
My question was the relationship between the ODM supporters and the PNU supporters in the months preceding the election in 2007. How was the relationship between the two groups of supporters?
Uhusiano, watu walikuwa kiishi tu vizuri bila shida yote.
With regard to their relationship, they did not have any problem. They lived in peace with each other. But there's one thing that was talked about, and this was what Raila Odinga said before the elections. He said that if the ODM does not win the elections, there will be a bloodbath, a major bloodbath in Kenya. And that is why PNU supporters became afraid, and the fear spread throughout the entire region of Kericho.
And before this announcement by Mr. Raila Odinga, how was the attitude of the ODM supporters vis-à-vis the PNU supporters, and vice versa?
Kabla ya Bwana Raila Odinga kutamka hayo,
before Mr. Raila Odinga made that declaration, we were living in peace with each other. There was no problem. There was no worry between us. We would talk to each other. We would share jokes. We would talk about politics. And in fact, there was no problem at all.
And when was this announcement made by Mr. Odinga?
Alitamka mambo hayo kwa Disemba kabla uchaguzi.
He made this announcement in December before the elections.
And what happened afterwards? You said that the PNU supporters became afraid. How did they express their fear?
Wasiwasi ulikuja kwamba wakawa na fikira ya kwamba uchaguzi.
Their worry was that they believed that immediately after the elections there would be war, because Raila had just said that if he did not win the elections there would be a bloodbath, and that is why there was this major worry, and some of them had to leave the locality even before the elections.
Now, speaking about the
Ndiyo nilisikia akiongea moja kwa moja.
Yes, I heard him say this live on the number 3. At location number 3, I think.
All right, I'll come to that, but one at a time. First, I want to understand about the television speech. You said there were 2 occasions. One was on television. The other one was at location number 3. First, the television. Did you actually hear of the voice of Mr. Odinga making that declaration, even though you may not have seen the image, and it was the television presenter that was announcing it? Did you hear it on TV, the voice of Mr. Odinga saying those things, that there will be a bloodbath in Kenya if he did not win?
Ndiyo, mtangazaji aliweka sauti yake
Yes, the presenter broadcast his voice, and we could hear it from the TV.
All right. And you said you had, was that the first time? Was that the first time you heard Ms. Odinga say those words, according to you? The one on TV?
Naweza nikasema kwamba Raila haikuwa mwisho wake wa kuongea hivyo. Alikuwa ameongea mengi.
I can say that this was not the last time that Raila talked about this. He talked about it several times, even before that date.
All right, now listen to my question. Remember how I said you listen to the question that is being asked of you and then you answer that. That may be other information you would have. Now, I'm focusing on the television broadcast of that speech. What number was it? Was it the first time, the second time, or the third time, according to you, you heard those words said by Mr. Odinga? Was it the first time, second time, third time, or how many times?
Kuhusu umwagikaji wa damu.
Answer. Well, with regards to the bloodbath, I only heard him say that on 2 occasions. On the television and at the stadium located at number 3 on the list.
All right. Now we move on to number 3 on the list. How soon or how far apart was it in time between when you heard the voice of Mr. Odinga on TV saying those words and when he also, according to you, said it at location number 3? How far apart in time were the 2 speeches or the 2 occasions?
Nikikumbuka.
Answer. If my memory serves me correctly, at the time when he was making the warning on television, well, it was the end of November, and the second such warning was on between the 21st and the 22nd of December at location number 3.
Okay, if I may move back a little back to the time on TV, were you live? Were you at the rally yourself when he said the words that you said you heard on TV? Did you attend that rally live? Or was it only on TV that you heard it the first time? The TV speech.
Katika televisheni, nilikuwa katika hoteli.
Answer. I was at the hotel, and it was the television in the hotel that was broadcasting it live.
So you were not physically at the speech, at the grounds itself. Was that the case? You only had it on TV?
Hata mtangazaji hakusema aliongea hayo akiwa.
Answer. The presenter did not even say where he said these words. He just presented this as Raila's warning. He did not say where this had been said, at which venue or in which region.
Does it mean then you were not there? You only heard it on TV? You only heard the presenter reporting it? Is that what happened?
Ndiyo, nilisikia tu mtangazaji.
Answer. Yes, I just heard the presenter saying this, and then he had us listen to his voice live.
All right, thank you. Now let's move on to the second occasion now. You said the other time you heard those words were at location 3. Were you there at location 3 and heard those words from Mr. Odinga?
Ndiyo, nilikuwako mimi mwenyewe binafsi katika.
Answer. Yes. I was there in the flesh at location number 3.
Ms. Ago, I do not know whether you wanted to explore more of the circumstances at location 3. I noticed you were moving on to something else before I moved in. If you have questions about the circumstances of that speech at location 3, I will let you ask them, but if not, I have some questions about that as well. Would you want to ask them yourself?
I'd like to ask at least 2 follow-up questions, but I'm happy to do it after Your Honours are concluded his examination.
Not examination, just seeking clarification.
I apologize, of course. Thank you.
Witness, the occasion at location 3, where you said you were there in the flesh and heard Mr. Odinga say the words, were they the same words you had on TV?
Ndiyo, yale niliyosikia pale ni sawa na yale niliyosikia.
Answer. Yes, I heard the same thing there said as what I had heard said on the television.
Now, because I consider this important information for my own purposes, I will ask you kindly say those words that you actually heard Ms. Odinga say at location 3. Can you tell me the words you heard at location 3 while you were there listening to the speech?
Alitamka hivi. Alisema kuwa amegundua.
Answer. He said the following. He said that he had discovered that the PNU was planning to steal the votes, and that if the ODM party did not win, there would be a bloodbath in Kenya. He went on to add that he was asking the former President Kibaki to pack his things and leave the presidential palace, because it was he who was going to take over the presidential palace.
How big a rally was it at location 3 when, according to you, Ms. Odinga said those words?
Uwanja wa nambari 3 ni uwanja mkubwa. Ulikuwa na watu kati ya 30,000 ama.
Answer. The stadium located at number 3 is large. It has a capacity for approximately 30 to 40,000 people, and the stadium was full.
Do you know whether the newspapers and television and radio people were there at the rally?
Ndiyo katika rally.
And where was Mr. Otieno coming from? Where was his constituency?
Huyo Otieno Kajwang anatoka sehemu ya Nyanza.
Answer. Mr. Otieno Kajwang comes from Nyanza. He is an MP within Nyanza.
Now, going back to the election day, you told that yesterday already that you voted on that day. My question is, where were you living at that time? And please, as I said before answering, refer to the locations on the PIS if necessary.
Kwa wakati huo wa kupiga kura, nilikuwa naishi katika sehemu nambari 2.
Answer. I was living at location number 2 when it came to voting, and that is where I voted.
And how was the atmosphere at your location the day you voted?
Kwa ujumla naweza sema sehemu hiyo nambari 14 yote.
Answer. I would say that there was a general feeling of tension at location number 14. I would say that that was also the case at location number 4. There was tension.
What was this tension about?
Woga ulianza wakati ilisemekana kwamba umwagikaji mkubwa.
Answer. The tension began to be noted when people talked about a bloodbath. Then people became afraid, and some of them went to vote in the morning and subsequently went home.
Why were people speaking about the bloodbath that day?
Kwa sababu walikuwa wameshasikia kwamba Raila ametangaza kwamba ikiwa.
Answer. Because they had just heard that Raila saying that were ODM not to be elected there would be a bloodbath, so people understood that there would be a war.
A war between who?
Ilikuwa ni vita ya kupiga watu wa PNU.
Answer. A war between the members of the PNU.
Between the members of the PNU themselves or between the members of the PNU and someone else?
Hapa kulikuwa na ushindani mkubwa mwili tu kati ya PNU na ODM.
Answer. There were two opposing parties, the PNU and the ODM. When Raila Odinga uttered those words, people understood that were the PNU to win, then there would be a problem.
Am I correct in understanding that there would be a problem between the PNU and the ODM? Is that what you're trying to say?
Nasema kwamba hakuna shida yote ilikuwa na.
Answer. I have just said the following. The PNU did not have an issue as such. The problem stemmed from what Raila had said about the members of the PNU, but the PNU did not have a problem as such.
Ms. Ago, 1 second. Witness, at this stage, what needs to be clear on the record is the thing about the war. You said that when Mr. Odinga said that were ODM not to be elected, there would be a bloodbath. People understood that that would be a war. Now, what needs to be clear on the record is who would be the parties to that war. Remember, we're talking about war, bloodbath, not merely a problem. So when you say there would be war, who would be involved in that war as people fighting it?
Hali ilieleweka kwamba upande wa ODM
Answer. People understood that ODM members would attack the PNU members if they won.
Thank you.
Witness, the ODM members eventually attacked PNU members after the election results were announced.
Mr. President, that is clearly leading.
Objection sustained.
Mr. Witness, it is not disputed that the elections were announced. The results of the elections were announced on the 30th of December. Could you please tell us how did you learn about the electoral results?
Wakati wa kutangazwa kwa matokeo ya uchaguzi.
Answer. When the election results were given on the morning of the 29th, on the 28th in the morning, ODM was said to be up front with 1 million more votes. And then on the evening of the 29th, the PNU only had a 1 million advance.
Hapo ikaonesha watu ya ODM, wafuasi ODM katika sehemu hiyo nambari 4 kwamba
at that moment in time, ODM supporters started to realize that votes were being stolen and that our hopes of winning the elections were dissipating.
Na kukaanza kukuwa na uoga hata kabla kutangazwa kwa mshindi.
And even before the results were announced, we could feel the tension.
We're in open session, Your Honours.
Witness, which radio station or stations were you listening when the results were broadcasted?
Wakati huo nilikuwa nasikia station ya Citizen na KBC.
When the results were announced, I was listening to Radio Citizen and KBC.
Mr. President, I can ask a follow-up question and then we can break for the morning break, if you allow.
Yes, please proceed.
Witness, were Radio Citizen and KBC the only radio stations that you listened to that day?
Nilikuwa nikipendaga sana kusikiza station tatu, KBC, Citizen.
It was my habit to listen to 3 stations, KBC, Citizen, and Radio Njili.
We can break for the morning break.
All right, we will now break for 30 minutes. Witness, we will take our morning break now. You'll be brought back in about 30 minutes. Please, in the meantime, do not discuss your testimony with anybody. Thank you. We will now rise.
All rise.